Today I'm going to show you how to set up a VM or virtual machine on Google Cloud. So Google Cloud is at cloud.google.com. I'm not going to go into how you create an account. It's fairly self-explanatory. If you look at, if you already have a Google account, it's even easier. But so this assumes that you already have a Google Cloud account. First thing you want to do is when you go to cloud.google.com, after your account is set up, you want to go to Console up in the upper right corner. And it will give you all these choices here of all the types of things you can set up on Google Cloud. We want to go to Create a VM, which is under Compute Engine. Compute Engine is a section where you put VMs. So let's click into that. All right, so I'm going to show you a few things here. First, we need to name the machine. So I'm going to put test machine. You can name it whatever you want. Since I'm just doing this for a demonstration, I'm not going to worry all that much about it. Then you want to put it in the right region, or the region closest to yourself, or the closest to most of your users. I'm gonna put it in Northern Virginia. You can also set a zone here. There's several zones. I'm gonna just let it use any and see what happens. Some people set it to a specific zone. Don't like something. Yeah, maybe it's capital. Oh, it has to start with a lowercase letter. All right. So I'm gonna change it to test machine. Get rid of the capital letters. I didn't like the first leading capital letter. All right, if you see over here to the right, it says monthly estimate. That's based on 700 to 750 hours. A month has between 700 and 750 hours in it, depending on whether it's a 28-day, a 29-day, a 30-day, or a 31-day month. A 31-day month has, I think, 744. So if you're doing calculations and it asks on any cloud service and it asks you how many hours, if you go 750, that's the maximum number of hours they can charge you for the machine, basic. All right, so that's a little high for what we want because we just want to mess around with this. And so you can see there's general purpose computers, compute optimized. Some of these are very expensive. Memory optimized, storage optimized servers, and GPUs. GPUs have NVIDIA chips on it if you're doing AI. I think that's one thing reason you might want to use the GPUs. But for our purposes and most purposes, and to get to learn the system, we're going to select general purpose. We're going to keep it at E2, but down here below that, you'll see it says E2 is a medium sized. I'm going to switch to a micro size, which is much smaller. And actually, okay, that's 14. All right, so that ends up being $7.99 according to this. So that's the estimate of how much it will cost a month. So we'll go with that, but make sure you mess with this and get the cheapest price you can if you're just messing around with it. And the cheapest price is going to be an E2 with a micro size processor. Let's go back and look at this again. Yeah, I think that's the smallest on this. All right, so this is the first section. So we've got our name. We make sure you set your region and your zone. Your machine type. These are kind of categories, and this is the precise machine type down here, this line. So then we're going to go to OS and storage. By default, it's going to use a Debian GNU Linux image, but you can change it to a number of things. The way you do that is you go to change here, and where it says operating system and version here, you need to go to operating system first. So you can pick the distribution of Linux, or you can actually pick Windows Server. All right, so instead of Debian, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to pick Ubuntu. Ubuntu is actually is based on Debian, but there are other Linux distros that are based on Ubuntu as well. And I'm going to go with the minimum one right here. I'm going to leave the rest of this as default. It's going to set it up on 10 gigabytes. You can change any of these things and look around them on them, but we're just trying to get a basic machine spun up. So I'm going to select that, and so that section's done right there. Data protection has to do with if you want backups on it and such. If you're just messing around with the machine, you really can just leave that on the default. If you have a production machine, you may want to consider what backup protection you're using. So we go to networking, and I'm going to go allow HTTP traffic and HTTPS traffic. That way I can connect to a web server on the server from the outside. So usually you'll want those up unless you're not running a web server at all on your server and you don't plan to. I'm going to leave all this other stuff on the default, and now I'm going to click down here on the bottom on create. So now it's creating an instance of this Ubuntu Linux server, and it will take a little bit for it to start up. You can see over here under status, there's this little thing spinning here indicating that it's working on starting it up. Once you see the green check here, that means that it's spun up the machine, it's on. So the first thing we want to do here, or one thing that we want to do, is now that it's up and running, we want to be able to connect into the machine. The easiest way to do that is to click on this name here, and it will bring up this screen telling all about our server. But right up here it says SSH. If we click on that, it will actually bring up an SSH terminal in a web browser. We're going to go authorize here. It asked us for a password, our Google password, so you may have to re-enter that again. And so here's our Google prompt, and we've connected into it using it set up a certificate and everything for us to log in, so we didn't even need to put a password in. So this is how you set up a default or a VM in Google Cloud. And how you connect into it. So that should get you started on the whole process. I just wanted to make a quick video to make it easy for people to set up their first VM. Now, the other thing I guess we should probably go into, I'm going to close out of this. I'm going to go back. If we say we set up this machine and we want to get rid of it, we can just click over here, and you'll see up here is a delete key. So that's one option. The other thing you may want to do is, if you're just messing with this machine, you can turn it off when you're not using it. That way you don't risk using any resources and being charged for them. You don't really have to worry about that much in the beginning, because if you're just getting a Google Cloud account, they usually give you some free credits to run it. The other thing you want to be aware of is we could delete this whole thing and get rid of it and start over again. But you should probably stop it when you're not using it. If you're just using it for learning and development purposes, and you don't need it to be on all the time, you can actually turn it off. And so all you have to do is hit stop here. We're going to go stop. It can take a couple of minutes for it to shut down as well. All right, so then once it's stopped, you'll see this circle here changes from a green circle with a check in it to a gray, dark gray or black circle with a square inside of it, meaning that it's off. Once it's off, you can delete it totally, or you can just leave it off and turn it back on when you need it. The other thing to be aware of is we have instance schedules here, and you can actually create an instance schedule. So if you want to save money on cloud services, you can actually set the hours that the server goes up. So if you need a server up to do certain functions or whatever at a particular time of day, you can schedule it to go up. So that's one way to manage costs on a server, but make it available during certain hours without having to go in and turn it on manual. So that's how you use Google Cloud, or that's how you set up a VM on Google. I'm Dean, and I'll talk to you soon.